In this video, we're going to look at the concepts of perimeter and area. Simply put, the perimeter is just the distance around a figure. That is, if you were to start in one of the corners and walk all the way around the figure, how far would you go? Now let's say we've been given a rectangle that has a length of 4 inches and a width of 3 inches. And we want to know, what is the perimeter of this rectangle? Well, since it's a rectangle, that means that the sides opposite each other are equal. So if the width is 3, then that's going to be consistent. And if the length is 4, then that's going to be consistent. And those are in inches as well. And so if I need the perimeter of this, how far would I go if I walked all the way around this rectangle? Well, let's see. If I start up here and I start walking this direction, I'm going to go 4 plus 3 plus another 4 plus another 3, and that'll be 4 and 3 is 7, and 7 more. I've walked 14 inches. And so the perimeter of this rectangle would be 14 inches. And that's useful and that's good to know. And now from there I think we can kind of develop a formula for this, where if I'm going to use this number twice, that's the length, and I'm going to use this number twice, that's the width. So if I want the perimeter of a rectangle, that's going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And that will be the formula that we'll use to find the perimeter of a rectangle. Now let's talk about area. Simply put, area is the amount of space that something covers up. When you think about buying carpet in your house, that's a great example of area. How much space does it cover? If we look at our 4x3 rectangle again, where if I know that the width is 3, then it's going to be 3 on the other side, and if I know the length is 4, it's going to be 4 on the other side. And when I have this, and I want to know the area, now I'm not talking about walking around this, I'm talking about how much space it covers. So what I've done here is I've cut this into little 1-inch pieces. And what I can do with those is I can draw in these lines all the way across and cut this up. And what I'm making by doing that is I'm making 1-inch squares throughout the figure. Once I've got that, I can count those up and see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 1-inch squares, or another way to phrase that is that the area of this rectangle is 12 square inches. Or you could write that as 12 square inches. And this is about how much space it covers up. So how many square inches are there inside this rectangle? There are 12 of them. You might be thinking, well, there was a formula for perimeter. There's probably a formula for area. And you're exactly right. The area of a rectangle, which you can probably determine by looking at the numbers and how this played out, is just the length multiplied by the width. The area of a rectangle is just length multiplied by width. You may have guessed that this was coming. Here's our word problem dealing with perimeter or area. We'll have to figure that out after we read it. A fence is to be built around a rectangular field, and 48 feet of fence is to be used. If the length is to be twice the width, what will be the dimensions of the fenced-in field? Let's start by drawing a picture. So I don't know what the dimensions of my field are going to be, but I know it's supposed to be a rectangle. And a rectangle has a width and it has a length. Okay, so I know that much. 48 feet of fence is to be used. So when I build my fence, I've got 48 feet that I can use to go there. Well, if I'm concerned with how much fence I'm going to use, that means what I'm after here is the perimeter. And I know the perimeter has to be 48. Okay, well I know that the formula for perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, that's pretty good. I'm getting there. And now I need to use this other clue that I was given, that the length is to be twice the width. So wherever I see an L, I can replace that with 2W. With 2W. And I'm going to do that in my formula. So when I set this up to solve, what I'm going to have over here is that the perimeter equals 2 times the length. But instead of L, I'm going to use 2W. You may remember that as being called substitution from your algebra courses. And then plus 2W. So this L got replaced with 2W because I know those two are equal because the problem told me so. Now I've got one equation with one variable, so I'm going to be able to solve it. We've got 48 equals 4W plus 2W. 48 is equal to 6W. I'll divide both sides by 6 and find out that the width is going to be 8 feet. It asks me, what will the dimensions be? So I need to give both. I just found out that the width was going to be 8 feet. And the length, how am I going to find the length? Well, the length is equal to twice the width. So if I just double that, my length is going to be 16 feet. And so there's the width and length of the rectangle. Now I may want to take a minute and check that. If I have a width of 8 and a length of 16 and a width of 8 and a length of 16, this better add up to 48. Well, let's see. 16 and 16 is 32, and 8 would be 40. 8 more is 48. Sure enough, it works. I can feel great about my answer.